Warframe Hotfix 24.2.7 has fixed a lot of weird bugs in this game. And it seems a lot of people are making good use of this, because now when you come and see Uri to start the Voxelaris or the Prophet Taker missions, you don't have to listen to her anymore. This thing is instant. They have also made it so for the first bounty you can't actually start it unless everybody who is in the squad has a fishing spear in your gear. If you don't have it in your gear, you cannot do this mission. They have also fixed a lost pylon phase for Prophet Taker round 4, bounty 4, which honestly I thought that had already been fixed, because that was a really early on bug. And then there was one for the third phase, which, what was it? The transmission during the actual bounty was missing, but more importantly, there was an actual bug in this that if you were in a squad and you didn't actually initiate the bounty or agree to do the bounty, you couldn't skip the videos. That has been fixed. That now works. That could have been the issue that I was having when I was trying to skip the bounties, the videos, and it wasn't skipping, because if you left click, we'll just quickly do the second one as an example for this, when they start you can actually left click to skip the videos. This has always been there. They added that actually really early on. It wasn't there originally. They added it within the first week or so people could skip the videos, but sometimes it would bug. It has, as expected, been fixed, so it will now work every single time. There has also been some changes and fixes to the conservation things, the biggest of which is that it? The trank rifle is now actually silent, so shooting at an enemy or one of the targets that you're trying to save and missing, unless it obviously lands next to them, because the projectile, I would have to assume, I'm reading this and it doesn't say, they'll only react if they are hit. It literally said it's only on the hit they'll react. So if you miss and land nearby, they will react to it hitting, but if you miss completely and shoots off into the distance, like an arrow or any other silent weapon, they shouldn't really react to it. The same goes for the echo lures here. Sometimes this would kind of disappear when you needed to use it, because there was something about when you used a trank, or I honestly have no idea. I haven't really got into the conservation side of this that much, but sometimes the gear slot would be empty. Now it shouldn't do that either. Ooh, there are also 4 new augments, starting with Novas. This is kind of, to be honest, I read this and thought, what? It's a molecular prime augment that when the enemies are killed, assuming that it means when they are affected by this and then killed, there it says, primed enemies will restore a Null Star. Wouldn't this be better off as a Null Star augment than a molecular prime? Null Stars are also recharged back to 100%, so you can gain one and have them restored at the same time. That could be really interesting, but that is not the only Nova augment. There are other ones. I know for a fact there is, because I use them, but to me that sounds like it should be more of a Null Star augment than a molecular prime, because enemies affected by molecular prime restore Null Stars and grant an additional one. If it does grant an additional one, this could be very useful. We'll have to take another look at this. Inaros also has won the Desiccation Curse. Killing a blind enemy with a finisher will basically have a 75% chance of summoning a Sand Shadow. That could also be ridiculously useful. And Korra's is for Venari. Venari will die in place of Korra. It will have a timer. Obviously when it dies it'll be 150 seconds before it will respawn. But there's this weird thing about this. Okay, yes, killing enemies decreases the timer by 4 seconds, so in a decent mission, that could work ridiculously well as well. But there's a downside to this that people aren't kind of seeing here, and that's it doesn't really say when Venari sacrifices itself to save Korra, what kind of life does Korra come back to? Does she come back to a lot? Or is it restored just a little bit? Does it restore full health and shields instead of Korra dying? Not really explained that much in there. It just says Venari dies in Korra's place. Respawn timer is set to 150 seconds, and you can reduce it by 4 seconds for every enemy that you kill. Gonna have to look into that one as well. Actually, a lot of these augments seem kind of weird. Molecular Prime works more towards Null Star. The Venari one doesn't say whether... If it restores her to full health and shields, it will be a good augment. The Shadow one for Inaros, Desiccation's Curse, seems to be probably the only one that really specifies what it really does. And then there's... Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. Korra's Augment. Enemies that die within Spectrorage have a 50% chance to drop an orb, so it's going to make it easier to get a hold of energy to keep her abilities on the go, which is great because Gara could really use the energy a lot of the times. So that could also be useful, but to be honest, Molecular Fusion, Nova's Augment, and Venari Bodyguard, Korra's Augment, are the two I'm probably looking forward to trying the most here. Changes and fixes for Baruch says that... actually, I completely lost it for a second there. Desert Wind, his weapon here that he's kind of waving around, his Fists of Fury, displays as having impact, puncture, and slash in the arsenal. It's just impact. Did it used to have the rest of them? I honestly never paid that much attention to it. I just kind of, yeah, threw a few former in there and went, yeah, that'll probably do. That'll allow me to put a decent build on it. I paid no attention to what damage it had. So, that's a thing. And the animation that used to play for the end of Elude no longer stops you from being able to move, so it no longer prevents movement. That's about it. Apart from that, it's a bunch of fixes to the way that animations work and sounds work for him. Harrow has had an energy increase from what you can gain from his Therible ability, and the duration of penance is greater by 20%, as well as the blueprint for his systems will now drop from defection missions in rotation B, which means that you now have 2 chances in the endless mission. So it can drop, but it's a rare drop on B, and it is not just set for C anymore, so it will drop on rotation B and rotation C. Can drop, not guaranteed to drop. It just has a chance to drop on B as well as C now, so should be easier to get him. And one thing that I know a lot of people did want to come back, and they said this was going to come back, when you have a Mesa Prime equipped and you put on a different skin, I have the Grax skin here, and if we throw the Grax helmet on to go with it, not the best of colour setups, I know, but they've added back this toggle. It was removed because of some meshing issues. Well, now you can add it back, so you can have Mesa Grax Prime. That actually doesn't look that bad. Now I can kind of understand why people really wanted this to come back, because that's okay, that actually makes her look so much better. I mean, the Grax skin, it makes the Grax skin look so much better because it adds some gold details here and there and puts the shoulder pieces on. It's actually overwriting parts of the Grax skin. The entire collar around her neck is being overwritten with the Prime attachments. This is why it was taken off. There was obviously some meshing issues. This has now been fixed. As well as the Bratton Prime blueprint has been replaced with the Bratton Prime receiver on the Lith K2 relic because they accidentally vaulted the Bratton Prime receiver, as well as some fixes for the Morgus Anomaly Arcane that used to pull in Kuvas Ciphers, Eidolons and other bosses has also been fixed, and there was a bunch of fixes for loss of focus XP during host migration. The operator amp icon has been updated, and just lots of nice little fixes. Link, as always, will be in the description if you wish to go and read all the fixes. We'll leave this off here for now. I honestly expected that to start panning to the right again there, but it hasn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time.